Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer a question that, a couple people sent me. And, they wanted to know how I know so much on what really took place that day in the JFK assassination. Now, I made a couple videos on this before, but I never really went into fully details about things, how I, got this much information. When you're looking for it, whether it's this investigation to the JFK assassination or any other investigation, okay, you have to look for key facts like a location, certain objects, uh, people's reactions. Okay, you got to look for all this stuff. So just like when I was looking into JFK assassination, okay, when people talks about a gunman behind a picket fence area, okay, which gives me a location, but it gives me a long location, which is a long picket fence area. But, I was sitting here looking at the films and images that shows this location, and I'm not seeing nothing occurring there. No shots fired or anything else, because by the time, which I'll pull this up right here. Let's bring this up, the image of all the gunmen location. Okay, we're going to say the picket fence area right here. So, when we're looking at all this structure right here, now remember, the main shots of JFK and Governor Connally happen up over here, and this location over here. So anywhere along these picket fence area right here, okay, you have to eliminate. Okay, these are things to look at, because when you look at it this way, you've seen all the shots occurring to JFK and Governor Connally in this location here, okay, and then you read your report stuff, and everybody's talking about they wouldn't hear no shots come from here or see no shots come from here. You have to take all this into consideration. So as I pointed out when I was doing my investigation, my research, okay, here's the very first shot I found in the Orville Nix film, frame 40. Now, when I was marking down locations, seeing where, everybody was located, like the Newmans, Kennedy's vehicle at the time, we see the police officers here, and, Mr. Spruder, Mrs. Sedgman. When I was over here looking at this, that's when I seen this shot right here. I zoom in, as you see right here, to make sure it was a shot being fired, and there was a shot actually being fired. Then I went ahead and I started backtracking, because after I found out that was a shot to Governor Connally, then in frame 26 I see a shot coming from the window right here. So I have a location of shelter. Shelter number three on this side of shelter number 3, and the third window from the bottom up on shelter number 3. So now I have a specific location to look at. So I found this in a Nix film. So when I start looking at other films and images, I'm going to look at films and images that shows the shelter. Okay, it has a shelter in it, like the Mormon photo. Okay, we'll bring this up right now, the Mormon photo. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. Now remember, like I said and I pointed out, in the Orville Nix film, I'm looking on the side of shelter over here in this location right here, because this is where a shot was fired from. And as you see, there is a gunman right here with a rifle in his hand. Then I'm going to say I'm going over here inside the shelter. I'm going to look for the third window up. So here's 1, 2, 3 windows up. And as you see right here, there's a rifle sticking out, and the gunman's holding his hands on it. And we see the head up here. Let me go ahead and pull this one up right here so you can actually see. So I knew a location to look at from the Orville Nix film. Orville Nix film's telling me on the side of the shelter right here, and the third window up in the shelter right here. So that's when I start looking at other photos or films taken at that time around that location. I knew where to look at. As I pointed out, Nix film showed me a location to look at. Then when I looked at the Mormon photo, and I said, well, here's the same location, 2 gunmen with rifles in their hand. Third window up on the side of the shelter. Same as, the Orville Nix film. Then I started looking at other films, like the Darnell film. Darnell film, I'm seeing the side view now of the shelter. Again, seeing 2 gunmen there, and one of them still aiming his rifle. Then I go ahead and look at other films and stuff showing the shelter and stuff. And as you see right here, we have the Bronson film showing a shot being fired right here. from the side of the shelter. So I was like, okay, well now I got the Nix film, the Bronson film, the Mormon photo, the Darnell film. Okay, now I'm piecing this all together of this location. And then I go ahead and I reversed it by lining these films and images up with the Zapruder film so I can see exactly where these bullets made contact with. And as I pointed out right here, we have the fatal headshot JFK, which is frame 313. And then we have the shot to Governor Connally, which is, we can see the bullet impact right here. So now I know, I see where the shots are coming from, shelter number 3. I had the photographic evidence showing those shots being fired from there, gun with rifles, hands, and everything else. Now I have the Zapruder film show me the opposite side so we can see where these bullets made contact with. They made the contact with JFK. It was the fatal headshot JFK and a shot to Governor Connally. Excuse me. So I piece all this information together and I put down, as you see right here, I marked down locations where each one of these images was taken at and which one of these films was taken from and everything else. So I place these on the map. And then I go over eyewitness accounts. And eyewitness accounts, you know, the Newmans and Mr. Zapruder and stuff like that. Place them back in their locations and stuff like that. Place locations of the fatal headshot JFK and the shot to Governor Connally. Just, that's how I know. Okay, once you piece all this information together, we have the Bronson film, shows the fatal headshot to JFK. The Nix film showing the fatal headshot to JFK. The Mary Moore photo showing the gunman with a rifle in his hand, with a rifle in his hand from that location where he took the fatal headshot to JFK. We got the Zapruder film showing JFK's right side of his head blown off right here. So when we put all this together, we put this information all on a map and stuff, now we know. You see what I'm saying? Now we have the evidence and the information that we're looking for of where the fatal headshot came from and the shot to Governor Connally. This is how I know, but it takes some time to piece all this together because, like I said, you got to analyze it, just like when you're working with films and images. As everybody knows, we're going to use an example here. Okay, we have the gunman on second floor of the County Records building found in the Bell film. Okay, now we have in the Hughes film, in the Hughes film, we have a shot being fired from that window. So for me to find out, okay, now I have a gunman's location and then a shot being fired in this film. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both of these film frames, and line them up. Okay, we got the gunman in this window here with a rifle in his hand. We see the shot being fired from the same window where this gunman with his rifle in his hand. So now we got a pinpoint of where this shot made contact with. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the Zapruder film and other films and everything else. And we're going to start lining things up just like, okay, we see right here. We have all gents image number 6. Okay, so we're going to take the information from this film here. From this image here. And we're going to line it up with the Zapruder film, which we're going to find out that the Zapruder film, and it comes up with frame 254. Okay, so it lines up with 254. Now we're going to go to Hughes film. We're going to line this up by the vehicle. See this vehicle right here? So we're going to line this up. So now we know by lining up all gens image number 6 with frame 254 of the Zapruder film. So we know it happened before frame 254. That shot occurred because we see this car right here, which is already on Elm Street, which was actually on on Houston Street before when the shot occurred. So now we're going to backtrack this. Okay, we're going to have to backtrack a little bit. And then we come to find out in frame 229 of the Zapruder film, JFK was shot in the back of the head. So now we got that information. Now we have, which one we do is shrink this one. Okay, this is called lining everything up, which I'm going to pull these two up right here. I'm going to shrink this. By doing this kind of investigation and this kind of research, okay, by lining up films and images and everything else like that, we get more information. As I point out, we get a lot more information. Okay, so now at this point, when we look at this kind of information, we can see the gunman in his location with rifle in his hand in the Bell film. We see him take that shot in the Hughes film. And the shot that he took, that shot there that we're seeing taking place in the Hughes film was the first headshot to the back of JFK's head. So see, this is what this information feeds us. This one image, then you go to another image, and you go to another image. Once you find out where the shot came from, the gunman's location, the shot come from it, and where it made contact with. Once you piece all this information together, then you have that more information. Then after we get that information, we write it all down. This is where we're going to come up with our charts, or we're going to call, like I said, time frames. Okay, we got our time frames now. Okay, so we know that the shot to the back of JFK's head, the first headshot to JFK. Okay, we can see that taking place. We see the gunman's location, him with a rifle in his hand, him firing from that location. Okay, so we look at the Zapruder film, and we do by the counterclock from frame 133 to frame 229, when the bullet made contact with the back of JFK's head, was 7.58 seconds. So we know it was the back of JFK's head, this shot here. Okay, back of JFK's head. We know this shot came from the second floor of the county records building. So we can mark that down and mark this down. So we know that shot number 2 was the shot. And this is, like I said, this is what we call based on photographic evidence. Shot number 2 was fired from the second floor of the county records building, which we can see the gunman and him taking that shot. And then in the Zapruder film in frame 229, we can see the bullet impact with blood spatter coming out of the back of JFK's head. So we know that shot took place from there. So we're going to time frame it from frame 133 to frame 229, and we have 7.58 seconds. Okay, that's how we get a time frame now. We have the location, because we can see this by photographic evidence, and we keep on finding more pieces put on top of each other, and then we have all this information. So see, this is how I get a lot of my information. This is why I know in detail of what took place that day. We're talking 13 years. Okay, 13 years of research, investigation, analyzing, going through documents and files, films, images, colorizing, piecing everything together, piecing all this information together. This is what we do, just like the manhole cover. Okay, just like the manhole cover. Okay, 2 shots seen in the Zapruder film. Right here, 1 shot here to the side of the curve, to the manhole cover, top corner of the manhole cover, bullet ricocheting upward. We see this in the Zapruder film. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look for more information on this 2 shots in manhole cover. Come to find out, well, both bullet holes are still there. So we know the shots occurred there because we can see in the Zapruder film, and 2 bullet holes are still there, plain as day today. So we're going to look for other information. We're going to find this information here. There's the manhole cover, police officers, Secret Service agents, and people looking at the manhole cover. Why? Because 2 shots struck there, because we can see that in the film. We got the image right here. Secret Service agents, stuff like that. And as you see, the tip of the 30.06 bullet, which I'll pull up right here. Then we'll pull up this image right here at the same time. Okay, we'll pull this over here. We'll bring this one over here. As you see, he's getting ready to pick up that bullet. Okay, right there is the tip of it, right here. See his hand, see his hand? Now we're close up. Now we have that bullet right here. We see that bullet in the grass area right here. Okay, this is what I'm talking about, piecing together. This information here and this information here. What's he reaching down for? We look at this image and we go to another image where we zoom in on it stuff. We see what he's reaching down for a bullet in the grass area. So if this has been, and like I said, when I do this, I category it and I mark it down to keep on file. Okay, because we have to do this so we can piece it all together. And like I said, when you have all this information, once you have a location and you have images taken in that location where it shows 2 shots being struck at the manhole cover and other images of Secret Service agents, police officers, stuff, looking at that manhole cover, trying to figure out where those shots came from, finding bullets lying in the grass. Okay, finding bullets lying in the grass. Indicates another shot being fired because we could see it. Okay, we can see the shots striking the manhole cover. We can see the bullet lining the grass in the images. We can see the police officer, Secret Service agents trying to figure out where these shots came from. Okay, but when you go there and you line it up and you find out, hey, these shots came from the rooftop of the county records building. Then when you got that information, you're like, okay, well, the 2 shots in the manhole cover came from the rooftop of the county records building. We mark this down. Let me see if I have that image here. Let's see. No, I don't have that image here, but I will pull this up right here. Okay, we have the picture of that manhole cover. Both bullet holes still can be seen. 30.06 bullet found in the grass area. Okay, the Zapruder film shows a gunman coming down from the rooftop of the county records building, aiming and firing his rifle. They found on the rooftop of the county records building a 30.06 bullet casing. And then we have the images of the bullet striking the manhole cover and other images taken after that, and especially late at that night and stuff like that. We have that location stuff. So we piece all this photographic evidence together. Now we have information. Well, we know the Zapruder film shows a gunman on the rooftop of the county records building. We know 2 shots struck the manhole cover, concrete, because we can see it in the Zapruder film. We know the bullets did strike there because we've got Secret Service agents, police officers, and stuff looking at that location. We see him retrieving bullets from that location, which is a 30.06. A bullet casing was found on the rooftop of the county records building. 30.6 bullet casing found on the rooftop of the county records building. When you line them shots back up, they line straight back to where? Rooftop of the county records building. So now we have a location, like I said. With this information, now we have a location. The rooftop of the county records building. We have locations of where he took shots at, which is the manhole cover. And then when you line up the manhole cover with other information like the curb shot, you're going to see it's all in the same line of fire. So we have the gunman right here, manhole cover shots here, curb shot here, all in the same line of fire as well. So now we know the curb shot didn't come from Oswald. The curb shot came from the rooftop of the county records building. Just like when I said, when we pinpoint the locations of the gunman by photographic evidence, and seeing shots being fired from that location, we see pinpoint the shots when we see in the Zapruder film and other films and images. We piece all this together, we place it all down as you see right here, where the shots came from. Okay, that's how I knew where the shots came from and locations and everything else. We know where the locations of, okay, we got the back of JFK's head and stuff like that. That's what, where the shots came from, right here. Where these shots made contact with. But people look at that, well, okay, now we got this information here. What more information can we pull from it? We can actually pull a lot more information from it. Let me show you how. We're going to sit there, pull up, and we're going to look at these time frames. We're going to say, okay, well, we see between this shot here, 6 and 7. Shot number 6 and shot number 7. Now, shot number 6 came from, now we're going to, I want to show you something here. Let's see, is this it right here? No, let's pull up the next one over here. I'm going to show you something. This is how we get more information. Okay. Well, we know that shot number 6 and shot number 7 have 1 second, 0.01 second in between both shots. Am I correct? Between shots 6 and 7. Now we're going to go over this chart here. See shot number 6, shot number 7, shelter number 3, rooftop of the county records building. So now we have more information because now we can say, all right, well, the gunman on the rooftop of the county records building and the gunman inside of shelter number 3 took the shots at the same time. But with one being closer than the other, his bullet made contact with Governor Connolly, while the gunman on the rooftop of the county records building, when he took his shot, it struck the curb where James Tagg was standing. This is where they get that, where Governor Connolly said he only heard 2 shots, was hit by the second shot. Because the only 2 shots he could hear was from the shelter because it was close distance to him and it was out ground level. Same thing as James Tagg. He said he only heard 2 shots, and that's when he felt that sting on the side of his face. Okay, like I said, ground level, shelter close to him. So they're going to hear 2 shots from the shelter. They're not going to hear the shots from the rooftop of the county records building because it's above crowd level, and there's noise down in crowd level. And with everybody screaming and cheering in the crowd in Dealey Plaza, and it's like an echo chamber, we're going to, at ground level, you're just not going to hear no shots. You're actually going to just hear, like as they said, firecracker sounds from inside the buildings or from above their heads. So see, this is how we piece it all together. We get this information, we piece it together, and then we get more and more and more and more and more information from it. But like I said, it takes a long time. But people ask me, how do you know so much about this? How do you know so much about that? It's because I piece everything together. I find a specific location where I can find a gunman, as you see in the films and images. Then I figure out what shots I did by the films and images. And then I mark all this stuff down, and then I get my information, like I pointed out right here. From the films and images showing the 2 shots from shelter number 3. Okay? And where the shots made contact with, placing everything back in its location. Now I know the fatal headshot and the shot to Governor Collin came from shelter number 3. That's how I know this information, because it takes a long time. You piece everything together, you find the information, you mark it down, and you piece it together. I just wanted to answer this and go a little bit more detail as I just went through, because like I said, when it comes to JFK assassination, a lot of people thinks that they're an expert in this case, or they know more about this case than anybody does. But really, there's more to the story than anybody can ever possibly imagine. Okay, just what I found over the years, 13 years I worked on this case, there's a lot of information there. And like I said, it just took, it's a very long, slow pace to get this type of information. But at least today we have this information. But I just want to make this video here, because they asked me how did I know so much about the cases. It takes time, especially when doing investigation research. It does take time, and it's a lot of hours you got to put into it. But as soon as you start finding location, it makes it easier to a point. Like I said, once I found the location of the shots being fired at shelter number 3, I knew a location, so I can mark down shelter number 3. So when I look at other films and images, I'm going to look at the shelter number 3. And that's how I found more evidence and more evidence, more evidence, more evidence. And then you start piecing it all together and you get that information right there. And you go, okay, well, we know the 2 shots from the gunman inside shelter number 3. We have that evidence. So we're going to close that book right now. And we're going to look for these other shots. I just want to give a little bit more information out and stuff. In the description down below, you find a site where you can own my book, Evidence Conspiracy, the only book you need in the JFK assassination. Share this information and other information on your social media and stuff with your friends, family, and relatives. Don't forget that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends about us. Thank you, and you have a pleasant, pleasant day.